But I see you, Reina. Will you marry me?
The feast is ready, please. Reina, just meet them. We're going to the balcony.
You embarrassed me tonight. You stood too close, you talked too much, you should have stayed in the kitchen.
So because my face is not beautiful enough, you are leaving a good woman?
Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a room full of people and felt completely invisible? Not because you were hiding, but because someone who was supposed to see you most, chose not to. That was my marriage. My husband looked at my face every single day and felt shame. I look at his face every single day and felt love. Until the day I decided love was not enough reason to keep making myself small. My name is Rena, and this is the story of the ugly wife who turned out to be everything. The day Drake came to ask for my hand, I was sitting in the corner reading a book. I remember looking up and seeing him, handsome, well-dressed, confident. I thought, this man chose me out of everyone, he chose me. What I did not know then was that he did not choose me. He chose my father's sitting room, the furniture, the painting on the wall, the weight of everything my father has built. He chose all of that, and I just came with it. My father knew, I could see it in his eyes, but he approved anyway, and his eyes said, I am watching you. I wish I had listened to those eyes. I wish I had listened. Our wedding was beautiful. My family paid for everything, every flower, every light, every plate of food. Drake smiled for every photograph, and I stood beside him, genuinely happy, completely in love. The kind of love that has not yet learned to protect itself. People whispered that I was lucky to have a handsome husband. Nobody asked if he was lucky to have me. Nobody, not even me. I should have asked. 3 months into our marriage, his friend came to visit. I cook. I set the table beautifully. I came out to greet them with a smile. Drake introduced me quickly, barely looking at me. I moved them all to the balcony away from me. That night, he told me I embarrassed him, that I talked too much, that I should have stayed in the kitchen. I looked at him. I said nothing. But something happened inside me in that moment, something quiet, something that would take years to fully understand. A door very slowly began to close. It became normal. He went to parties alone, working events alone, gathering with friends alone. He bought me beautiful clothes I never got to wear anywhere. He told me I was lucky he married me, that other men would not have looked twice. And you know the worst part? For a long time, I believed him. But every night, after I cook his food and iron his shirt and made his house a home, I opened my books and I studied, because somewhere deep inside me, something refused to believe that this was all I was worth. One evening, he came home with his friends. He did not know I could hear from the kitchen. His friend asked about his wife. Drake laughed. He said, she's a good woman, but God was not generous with her face. They both laughed. I stood very still in that kitchen, holding a wooden spoon. The food was still cooking, steam rising, and I just stood there. I did not cry, not one tear. I put the spoon down, I served the food, and I smiled at the friends. And that night, after they were both gone, I studied until 2 in the morning, because the best answer to someone who does not see your worth is never was, it is result. Then she appeared, Vivian. I met her once by accident, tall, loud, conventionally beautiful, everything the world calls pretty. She looked at me with pity, the kind of pity that does not even try to hide itself. I looked at her and felt something she could not read, because I already knew something she did not. Pretty face. But what I was building would never fade. I said nothing. I went home and I opened
Yes,
my
I
books.
heard.
When my father got sick, I rushed to his bedside. He held my hand and he told me something he had never said out loud before. He said, Rena, you were always the strongest thing I ever built. He told me the company was mine, not my brother's, not my sister's, mine, because I was the only one who ever truly understood it. He placed the document in my hands, and I looked up and saw Drake across the room. He was not looking at my father. He was not looking at me. He was looking at the document. I understood everything, everything. My father left quietly and peacefully. At the funeral, I handled everything. The arrangement, the guests, the family argument, all of it calmly and steady. People who had never noticed me
Please,
before
let us have
started
peace
paying
today.
attention. And Drake put his hand on my back, warmer than usual, more deliberate, like a man who has just realized the value of something he has been ignoring. I felt it. I said nothing, but I felt it, and I fired it right where it belonged.
We need more drinks at table 4, quickly!
After the funeral, Drake sat me down. He was very calm, very reasonable. He used words like partnership and teamwork and together. He said as my husband, he should be involved in my company decisions. I listened to every single word. Then I called my father's lawyer. The documents were clear. The company was mine. Drake has no legal standing whatsoever. His reasonable voice disappeared very quickly after that. And I saw for the very first time who he actually was, without the mask, without the charm, just who he actually was. I walked into my father's company as its owner. The staff looked at me uncertainly. Some were dismissive. I was quiet, I was plain, and they did not know what to make of me. So I spent 2 weeks just watching, listening, learning every person, every problems, every hidden crack in the foundation. Then on the 3rd week, I called a meeting. I spoke for 12 minutes, no shouting, no drama, just 12 minutes of clarity. When I finished, the room was different, and I had not changed a single thing about my face, just position, and suddenly, everyone could see me perfectly. One Sunday, we walked out together. The moment we stepped outside, he walked ahead, several steps ahead, like I was not with him, like I was a stranger who happened to be going the same way. A neighbor saw us and called out, "Drake, is that your wife behind you?" He barely turned. He said, "No, that is my neighbor. She's going the same direction." I heard every word. I adjusted the bag in my hand and I kept walking behind the man who just told the neighbor that I did not exist. I kept walking because what else do you do when the person who is supposed to claim you denies you on a public road? One evening, I went to buy food. I saw him, Drake, sitting at a corner table with Vivian and a group of friends eating, laughing, drinking. I walk over. I greeted everyone. I look at my husband and say, "Honey, is this where you are?" His face changed immediately. He stood up. He grabbed my arm. He put me to the door outside. He said through his teeth, "Stop following me everywhere to disgrace me. Do not embarrass me in front of my friends again." I look at him. I said nothing. I walked home alone. I warmed leftover food. I ate in silence by myself in my own house while my husband sat in a restaurant with another woman eating the food my money paid for. I found that I was expecting a baby. I told Drake over breakfast one morning. His first reaction was not joy, it was calculation. I saw it. I saw him thinking, what will this baby look like? Then he arranged his face into something that looked like happiness. I watched him do all of this. In about 3 seconds, I said nothing. But under the table, I placed my hand on my stomach and I made a quiet promise to the little life growing inside me that I will always be enough for both of us.
Hello, everyone. He is beautiful.